Hello Clair Sons fam, welcome back to another video, welcome back to another reading. So, if you could not tell, today's reading is going to be a pickapile. You guys know I really enjoy doing these, more so than doing like general readings or any other type of reading that I've done. But today's reading is going to be a past life pickapile based off of shamanic roots. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 piles. They all have runes on top of them as well too. So I'm just gonna add some Palo Santo, cleanse this space a little bit, and yeah, then we will break into a meditation. I'll show you each rune up close so you can see the symbol, see if it sparks anything within you, and then we shall go from there. Okay, so ignore my really gross band-aid. It's not gross, but you know, it's kind of there in the way. Anyways, so this is for those people who have always wondered if you've had a shaman past life, a past life connected to magic, or a past life as a medicine woman, whatever it may be. Okay, so the first one here, this first rune is, I believe, pronounced Iwaz. Yes, Evaz, Enos. No, Evaz. I will put the spelling somewhere here, but this is for pile 1. Okay. Then pile 2 we have here Laguz. Oh, actually, this is not Laguz. This is Tina's. So sorry guys, it's Mercury retrograde, and so my I'm in a mercurial sign in my Mercury, so if I trip up on my words, please be patient with me. The next one here for pile 3 is Manas. Okay. Then this one here kind of looks like an eye, right? I actually believe it should be this way. Isa. This is Isa. Okay. And I'll tell you what these mean when we get to your specific pile. This last one is Wanjo. Wanjo. Or excuse me, Persas. This is Persas. Yeah, and these are all black tourmaline, but this is Persas, okay? Stick with me. Sorry, Mercury retrograde is already doing wonders on this reading here. Okay, so we're gonna do a meditation now. To your reading. This is for you if you chose Enos or Evaz, however it's pronounced. The spelling will be put here. This specific rune stands for, and if you couldn't tell, I have something very similar tattooed onto me. But this rune actually stands for a turning point, confrontation, profound change, death, and it lends strength, and it provides a sense of purpose. So immediately what I'm getting, if you chose this pile, you could have some major Scorpio placements. You could really resonate with having within this life or in past lives. But most things that we've experienced in this life come from past lives and things that we have experienced in other lives. But you may really resonate with going through major transformations all throughout your life. You may feel like you're always transforming, you're always going through some major death and rebirth. And so I feel that's why you may be really connected to this specific rune. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to flip over your cards. We have a tree here, a tree angel spirit card, and then we have 3 cards to kind of clarify and give us a backstory on your past life. So let's flip them over and see. Aspen. Interesting. Number 8. So yes, number 8 as in, you know, is interesting because even this rune looks kind of like an 8, or when you have a almost like a balancing of energies, right? So let's flip over your cards. Ooh, wow, powerful energy. So we have Judgment, the Star, and then the 10 of Swords. Yeah, so definitely some death, rebirth energy here on the cards. But what's really beautiful about this and what's really sticking out to me about this story is the Star card. And the reason why I say that the Star card is really sticking out to me is because not only because it's in the middle, but because of this very shamanic energy that is carried with this card. I believe this is probably like a hawk or an eagle, so you guys may have hawks or eagles as spirit totems. You may feel really connected to these animals, these birds, as well as the lotus flower. I feel a very deep Aquarian energy as well with this pile. You may resonate as someone who is a humanitarian. I feel this very star quality with this pile. You may have had a past life in Lemuria. I'm also hearing Aspen. When I saw this, I immediately thought that you may have had a past life in Aspen. I don't know much about Aspen, but if you've ever felt called to that particular place, that might be why. As well as, you know, being really connected to the aspen tree. I also feel like your past life, your shamanic roots are very connected to Egypt, as well as having a very open autonomy. I don't know why I want to say having a very open autonomy. And the reason why I say that is some of you guys may resonate with the LGBTQ community, but really with the Ankh symbol here, it's really like making me feel like in a past life you may have been someone who was just very open and free. I'm getting that might have been connected to this Aspen past life. I would definitely look into Aspen. I don't know much about Aspen, but yes, something about that. Also could have had a past life in South America or Africa. this energy here of you being able to connect to this specific rune, or feeling a connection to this specific rune, tells me that whatever you experience in this life, and I feel like you are either a humanitarian, you're someone who has a very big star quality, and you also have the ability to regenerate yourself in many aspects. It's like you can always revitalize your energy, and that's because you're connected to this this ruin, Evaz, that allows you to have this gift of being able to transform. Now, with the Ten of Swords here, I feel like you definitely could have had a Greek past life as well as a Lemurian past life. This card always reminds me of Lemuria. You definitely also could have lived in a life where their way of being, their religion was of sacrifice. So I feel like even connected to your lineage now, like you have a great idea of sacrifice. You know what it means to sacrifice and to go through many of changes within your life. I also feel like this pile may be like have Celtic, I don't know if I said that, or feel really connected to elves, if you believe in that kind of thing. So we're gonna look into with this card exactly what your this past life, this specific past life, is teaching you within this life. Okay, sorry guys for the glare, but let's look into this card, Aspen, okay? The number 8 may be very significant. As I said, it definitely represents karmic cycles and things of this nature. So Aspen, yeah, you definitely could have been a spiritual warrior. Definitely could have been a spiritual warrior with this card here. But I also feel like you could have had a Native American past life. You could have had been a woman, right? I feel like you could have been a woman or a man, but definitely the woman energy is here too. Let's see. Okay. Aspen is a spiritual warrior. Its medicine makes our enemies tremble. Of course we tremble too, but just like the aspen, not out of fear, but from uncontrollable laughter. The Joker brings us to our knees, and conflict crumbles as the perpetrators start to collapse with mirth, and everyone ends up laughing together. Who can resist the astute wit and disarming charm of the stand-up comedian? Humor can make us invincible as a matter of Tai Chi. We refuse to take sides, become unpredictable, and simply go with the flow. This great flexibility derives from a feeling of immense spiritual freedom, because the aspen rubs shoulders with the god of the wind even more than the white and the black poplar do. The heavens are vast and are filled with laughter. There is little need to point out that our razor-sharp wit conceals equally great powers of discernment and creativity. But then so what? Am I bothered? You could say that given so much Buddhist non-attachment, we are probably close to enlightenment. Although the idea one person could be more enlightened than the other is so ridiculous, we won't pursue it any further. Wow, so I got so much from that. So the way that these cards are playing out, I feel like even in this life, you may be someone, as I said, who has great star quality. But this is something that you even had in a past life. You were someone who was very enlightened. I feel like you may have also spent a lot of time alone. Someone who would take time to enlighten themselves in baths. This looks like probably like a hot spring, and just take time to get back to yourself. And I feel like this was something, and even if you had like very potent spiritual gifts in this past life, because I feel like you definitely could have been someone who had spiritual gifts. I'm really getting a Native American energy, that you could have been a Native American woman, someone who was very beautiful, had long hair. You could have also been a man who had long hair as a Native American, but you were someone who had this kind of jester energy, who was very loving, kind, I'm getting, but also you had a wit about you. You had a very joking nature about you, but you were powerful, you were strong. And sometimes, you know, people would get almost offended by this. They would feel a certain way about your specific power. And it's interesting because what pops out to me about this card in the book, it says, its medicine makes our enemies tremble. Of course we tremble too, but just like the aspen, not out of fear, but from uncontrollable laughter. So it's like you were always very at peace. This can even resonate within this life. This is something that came from this past life. It's like you've always been this way, where you've always been enlightened, you've always been in your own energy, you've always been a witty kind of person that kind of threw people off. And it's like, you know, people would just kind of almost fall to their knees a little bit about your power. And so I feel like people were also kind of scared of you a little bit, which is really interesting. And I feel like you harness this power even in this life, especially with EVOS, because you have this ability to transform, you have this ability to go through deep internal change, and even I feel like you have this power to like you have this very deep connection to death, and not in a dark way, but in a way that's like you almost can understand death and its ability and the reason why it is important in life. So wow, that's really, really interesting. I'm definitely getting a native past life with this, as well as you could have had a past life, as I said, in South America, Africa, or aspen, something dealing with aspen. So I would definitely look into that. And yeah, pile 1, that's all I have. We're gonna move on to pile 2, and yeah. Hey pile 2, welcome to your reading. This is your pile if you chose this rune here. It's like an arrow pointing up, and it stands for Tenaz. It stands for bravery, energy, faith, victory, self-sacrifice, duty, brings leadership, protection, and rationality. Wow, the first thing I heard when reading that was that you could have been a warrior. I know that the first pile could have been a spiritual warrior, but for this, I'm seeing like a warrior. I'm definitely getting a male energy. Like one of those warriors who would go to battle. Who would go to battle, like, yeah, for certain titles. I'm hearing for your family, like a very intense warrior, powerful warrior. But let's flip over your cards and see. So we have the first card here, which is the tree angel that you're connected to. Wow, yes, exactly this. Juniper. So juniper may be something that you feel really connected to as a plant, as a medicine. But this is definitely what I was imagining when I saw this warrior, a very powerful warrior energy. Okay, and then we have here the Daughter of Swords, another warrior energy. So again, you could have been a woman as well too, but I feel that the prominent energy is masculine. Then we have here, wow, look at this. Look at this. So we have two energies here. So like I said, you could have been a feminine or a masculine. This is giving me a very air energy. So someone who is very connected to the air, to the wind, to the weather and nature. And then more of a shaman energy, a shaman warrior energy. Someone who is very connected to fire, passion, and earth energy. Okay, and then in the middle here we have the Three of Pentacles. This could even stand for a past life connection that you could have had. So you being this feminine energy, as I said, like air energy, and then the masculine being this fiery energy, shaman energy. I'm definitely getting Egypt as well as Greece, Romania. I don't know why I just heard Thailand. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, this is giving very warrior goddess energy. Okay, someone who is very connected to animals, who lived in the mountains. I definitely feel like you used to live in the mountains. Maybe somewhere in Greece in the mountains, but you definitely have this very powerful warrior feminine energy. I feel like this warrior aspect of yourself, I guess you could say, was a part of something that had to do with work. It was like that was what work was for you during that time. And so I feel like this may play out in your life now, where you're very like driven. You may even be very competitive, someone who's just like has a natural competitive nature. But you also may be someone who's very brave, who likes to take risks, who likes to kind of just do things on a whim. But you're someone who is very like dutiful. Like I feel like, as I said, with this work energy here, I feel like both of these energies, as they were, whether they were shamans or they were warriors, that was a part of their duty for their family, for their tribe, or their I don't know where I heard dynasty. That was for their dynasty. That was their duty. That was their due diligence as you know, in that lifetime. So yeah, two very powerful leaders. So you may resonate as someone who is a very who has a leadership role within this life. Okay, number 10 is really significant, but also 1. So you could be a life path number 1, or 1 may just be a very significant number to you. I mean, 1 is a number of leaders. So let's see, number 10. We're going to read your Juniper card and see what it has to say. Okay. The Juniper wears a serious expression, yet one that is also seriously beautiful. Juniper has all the attentiveness and powers of observation of the spiritual warrior. I love this. Combined with the patience and devotion required to stand alone on the moor and keep watch for us all. Yes, so you could have been someone who was in charge of the family, who had a very watchful energy. You may even feel that within this life, that you're very like protective over your family if you have one, or even your loved ones, your friends, your lovers. You're a very protective person. The wind tugs at its leaves, a feather whirls past, and Juniper leaves into the distance and sees everything. That's so interesting. Remember how I was saying with this card, you're very connected to the element of air and wind. There are occasions when we need to act and others when we should bide our time. It is not that Juniper is passive, but rather that it has mastered the art of patience. It holds out and holds true. It doesn't feel weary, nor does it feel self-pity. Juniper knows destiny because it is at one with destiny. It deals with the inevitable out of devotion rather than duty. Interesting. It deals with the inevitable out of devotion rather than duty. So I was saying that you, in this past life, or even within this life, as this warrior, you may have felt like this position was a duty. Now, although you may have felt that way, the things that you did to protect your family, your dynasty, your legacy was out of devotion. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Juniper gives its whole being, its whole life to service. Its life itself is the gift. Without any hidden agendas or quests for personal gain, it gives because it loves, but without so much as a whisper of this love on its lips. Juniper's willingness extends far beyond any personal desire, and it is always willing, even when it meets us with silence. Interesting. Wow, this is a beautiful pile. So definitely this pile, if you chose this, you could be someone who has a very powerful leadership role, and you could be someone who gives in whatever way this means. There's so many occupations and ways that we can give and be leaders, but if you are one of those people, it is because you purely want to give, you purely want to love others and give others, and I feel like give to others, and I feel like this is very, very connected to this past life that you had as a warrior, as you were someone who was also very devoted in that life to standing as a leader for your family, for your tribe, whatever it was. And so that is something that you are almost harnessing and being taught in this life, and that you're acting out in this life, is to stand in that leadership power and to be of service and to just express your love and share your love and give to others, because simply that's what you love to do. And so I just heard that some of you guys may have Libra North Node, and if you do have Libra North Node, that is your confirmation that this is your pile. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys, pile 2. This was a beautiful energy, and yeah, we're gonna move on to pile 3. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. This is for you if you chose this rune here, and the name of this rune is Manas. Okay, and it stands for connection to others, cooperation, meditation, or mediation, actually. So you could be someone who resonates as a mediator. You could feel like in your relationships and your partnerships, you're always the person that is mediating. But it increases understanding and awareness of others. So you could also be someone who kind of, like as I said, a mediator, someone who assists others to understand, to come to an understanding, to have a sense of cooperation. You could just always be that person who comes in to assist people in your life, in your relationships, partnerships, to have a better cooperation. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip over your cards here and see what we got. So the first card here is a tree angel spirit card, and then we have 3 cards to kind of play out the storyline. Wow, this is one of my favorite cards out of this deck. Number 0, actually. You guys could also, some of you guys could be mothers, newly mothers, or this could be something that you want to be. You want to be a mother. But this is your tree angel spirit card. You could also feel really connected to birch trees and not really know why. Wow, yes, lots of feminine energy. So if you chose this, you definitely could be a feminine energy. You don't have to be. Could have been a feminine in this past life. But this is beautiful. This spread is gorgeous. I love all of these colors here. This is a gorgeous spread. Okay, so definitely could have been shamans. Someone who loved to go on excursions, I feel. There's a deep connection I'm even getting with Arizona. I feel like you have a deep connection with Arizona, even the Grand Canyon. That's so interesting because I just talked about the Grand Canyon. This card is just really reminding me of the canyons, Grand Canyon, whatever canyons. You just may feel really connected to canyons for some reason. I don't know, I'm getting like a sense that if you have ever been to a canyon or the Grand Canyon, it kind of brought up this, like it may have triggered this remembrance within you of being a shaman and like sleeping out in wilderness in the canyons, or even traveling on horseback around the canyons and having a very deep connection to nature, especially birds. Yeah, beautiful energy. And then here, being a shaman, medicine woman. I'm also getting someone or a shaman who was able to tell like when the weather would change, as well as something with the compass, something with certain directions. I believe that's an ancient practice. I don't know the name right now. They were just telling me that there was an ancient practice, something with this particular thing here, something with the compass and being able to tell when certain weather was going to change. But definitely a medicine woman energy. You could be someone who resonates as a medicine woman today, someone who is a single woman, a very powerful woman. I'm definitely just getting a very like singular, powerful woman energy. And if you're a masculine watching this, you could still be a very masculine, single energy. But definitely in this past life, you could have been a woman. You may feel really connected to eagles, and with the Ace of Cups here, you could also really resonate with swans as well as the ocean. You could have water placements. You could either be an earth sign or a water sign, or have these mixed together somehow. Not somehow, but in your chart. But yeah, you could be someone who really enjoys, like, I don't know, I'm hearing cliff diving or swimming. You really love to swim nude. Okay. There's something very deep here with the mothering nature. And that mothering nature being a sense of a mediator. With the number 0 here, I'm definitely getting that you have this ability to, yes, connect others. You also have the ability to connect others. That is a part of your nurturing nature. It's mothering, nurturing nature. However, you also have the ability to start again. There's something very connected to birth and birthing that allows you to start at ground 0. Okay. So we're going to read from the book and see. It says, the birch is life's ancient yet eternally youthful nursemaid. Interesting. Something about nursemaid. Okay, I would look into a nursemaid. You could have been a nursemaid in a past life. Her spirit is a spark of the ancient mother who gives birth to creation. Yes, she brings light to the landscape and into the human heart. She comforts us with her graceful youth because she reminds us of the eternal regenerative power of nature. Yes, that shaman energy. Yeah. So this is something that you could have in this life even too, that you're working towards harnessing and sharing with the world in whatever way that means to you. It doesn't mean that you have to be a shaman in this life, but there could be a way that you express yourself in this life that allows you to share that light. It is never too late to begin again. This is her message. Birch's presence helps us to let go of the past, purify ourselves, and start afresh with an open heart and open arms. Don't cling on to outmoded ideas, feelings of guilt, or constriction. Free yourself from the expectations of others and those you place on yourself. You are so much more than the limited picture you have of yourself. Hide nothing. Be fearless. Accept and flow with the changes, sway in the breeze, bathe in the light, and create yourself anew. Yes, what did I say? That you have this ability to create yourself anew, to start at ground zero. But there's also something really important about you guys, pile 3, and that is your great strength to completely break constrictions that are placed on you and on society. I feel like this pile, if you chose this pile, that is something that is really big for you in this life. That is a power that came from a past life. Is like you were someone who ultimately stood in your truth completely and wholeheartedly. And you were someone who just brought light to others, brought this sense of power to others just by being who you are. And so that may be something that you are working on in this life, that you are truly harnessing in this life, is to be who you are and to not hide it and to not feel confined and to not feel like you have to be just one thing. All of these women are very different aspects. They're just very different, right? These two may be kind of similar, but in a way they're all very different. And so, yeah, you are this representation of the ancient mother who gives birth to creation. Okay? So you may also be someone who is very creative, who can birth new creations into the world that people have never seen before. This is a beautiful pile. I love it. I love it. So, okay, pile 3, that's all I have for you, and we're gonna move on to pile 4. Hi, pile 4. Welcome to your reading. This is for you if you chose this rune that looks like an eye. It stands for inactivity, stagnation, reflection, withdrawal, favors a time to turn inward and seek clarity. That might be a message within itself for you. If you're wondering about something or if you're feeling stagnated, right now just maybe a time for you to go inward and check in with yourself. So let's see. We have your tree angel spirit card here. Wow, Cedar of Lebanon. This is a beautiful card, right? Gorgeous. Powerful energy, very powerful energy. Number 27 breaking down to a 9, so I feel like you could even be going through some endings right now. But let's flip over these cards. This is pretty much the storyline. Wow. Wow. Okay. So this is a pretty loaded pile. I feel like you guys could be literally from all over. I'm definitely getting with this. Could be native, but also let's see. I don't know, they're giving me so many names and I can't make out one, but I feel like you were just, this is definitely a past life where, this is definitely women, all women. You were a woman in this past life. I feel like you're a woman in this life too. You could have had twin boys. I just feel like this was a life where society was in the woods, right? And you were mostly living in the woods. Yeah, it's giving me a very natural energy, natural birth as well too. And then with the Fool card here, this is also woman energy, free spirit energy. Again, this very like nudity is very prominent here. So all of these past lives were lives where it was just like nudity was a really big thing. With this card here, I'm definitely getting the same energy of living in the woods, living in wilderness, being really connected to nature in all aspects. Something very significant with condors as well too. Crocodiles, mushrooms, lily pads, I don't know. Definitely like this mountain energy. But then we also have the energy here of being an ancient African high priestess, and being very embedded in tribal connection here. So there's definitely a fire, earth energy here, and I was gonna say air. But this is definitely a feminine energy with Cedar of Lebanon here. Yeah, I feel like having just a really deep connection with Cedar. I feel like Cedar was something that was around, maybe not in this life or in this African past life, but definitely in these two. Cedar was something that was very prominent. So let's see. Cedar of Lebanon, number 27. Some of you guys could be 27. Number 27 is just really significant. Yeah, there's also a very big sense to independence here. Someone who is very independent. You could be very independent in this life as well too. So the oak is the king of the forest, while the ash is the high king, according to an old German proverb that celebrates the power of the first and the grace of the latter. Under southern skies, yes, this could have been a southern past life. However, both these aspects of majesty are embodied by the cedar of Lebanon. No other tree is so magnificent. Even King Solomon, circa 11th century BC. This one's definitely giving BC energy, valued its wood, incorporating it into his legendary temple in Jerusalem. Nor would the kings and pharaohs of the mighty Orient and antiquity build their places without including this stately tree. A small nature reserve still exists today in Upper Lebanon, containing the last of the cedars. You also could have had a past life in Lebanon. However, there are problems caused by illegal logging operations and accelerating climate change. The much-prized cedar was also there at the dawn of so-called civilization. The rise of the city in ancient summer. Cedar was the world tree, the living home of the most revered deities of the time. Interesting. Okay, so I'm so sorry. Okay, so definitely Cedar also could have played a part in this African past life too. Interesting. Okay, I'm learning with you guys. The angel of the Lebanese cedar embodies true majesty. Its will and integrity would be unassailable even under torture. Its sphere of influence is vast, including nobility, care, responsibility, trust, justice, honesty, wisdom, farsightedness, foresight, creativity, and independence. Wow. So all of those things are words that could definitely describe who you are in this life, and as well as who you were in this past life. Definitely with this energy here, someone who is creative, a wild woman I just heard, someone who was noble, had care, responsibility, who was trustworthy, stood for justice, had great wisdom and foresight. So you could be someone in this life who that those are things that you stand by. Those are things that are, I'm hearing, a part of even the way that you express yourself in this life now. Could be even a part of your job, your occupation. But definitely this pile is a very powerful feminine energy. You could have been someone who was a deity in a past life as well too, or very high ranking, someone who was worshipped. I'm definitely getting like this woman, see how all of these women are surrounded by her. You could have been someone who was like who was very much in great power. You could have just came from pile 3, I feel. But this is another aspect of yourself that is kind of integrated with your leadership ability, is like this wild woman energy. I'm definitely getting someone who is a wild woman who just is free. People may call you a free spirit, someone who is just free to be you. You just do whatever you want to do. I'm definitely getting a lot of Sagittarius energy too with this pile. Okay. Yeah, that Sagittarian energy, I feel like you don't like when things are stagnant. Something that they told me to bring up is stagnancy. So right now, you may be going through a time where you're being asked to just like sit still for a moment, be stagnant for a moment, and then you get pushed forward. So I feel like you're someone who moves a lot, who just like does a lot of things. And so right now you're being asked to just sit still for a moment, and then things will pick up again. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but yeah, that is what I have for you guys, pile 4, and we're gonna move on to the last pile, pile 5. Hi pile 5, welcome to your reading. This is for you if you chose this rune here. Parasaz, I believe it's pronounced. And it actually stands for adversity, rigor, harm, introspection, conflicts, protection, or self-discipline is needed to avoid chaos. Okay, so that may be a message for you during this time to protect yourself. This is a protection rune, P, of course, and that might be a message for you. But let's see, we have these 3 cards here that kind of tell the story of who you were, and then we have the tree angel spirit almond. Wow, this is beautiful. Some of you guys may be Hindu or resonate as having a Hindu past life, may practice Hinduism, or you just, yeah, or you may feel really connected to almond. I don't know. Number 24 is here, breaking down to a 6. So balance, I'm definitely getting a Ma'at energy, a balance energy. So you could be someone who brings balance to the scales in a certain way, or brings, like, and when I say that, you're someone who can cause adversity because you will serve as a form of justice, if that makes sense. So some of you guys could be Libras here. Okay, so yeah, we have the 6 of Swords and air energy, 10 of Wands, wow, beautiful, and Temperance. Okay, so I'm definitely getting this very, some of you guys, I feel like most people who chose this power are also women. Some of you guys could resonate as a high priestess, someone who is a high priestess, someone who I feel like in a past life you could have been a part of a woman cult, a sister cult of sorts, who conspired together to pretty much protect. This is definitely giving me a protection energy. Protect the lands, protect your tribe, protect the lands and all of the mountains. I feel like you could have lived in the mountains with these women. But also here, do you see how all of this is like very high priestess energy? Women who practice magic, women who perform in ritual, in ceremony. So you could be someone who is very big on ceremony, on ritual. And when I say ceremony, ritual, it can be down to the most mundane things. Our face care, self-care routine is a form of ritual. Doing our makeup is a form of ritual. Our morning routine is a form of ritual, right? So you may be someone who is just very ritualistic. You have this very firm nature where you do things based off of ceremony. Writing in our journal, doing certain practices are a form of a ritual. And with temperance here, I feel like you guys could be Sagittarius as well too here. But you are someone who was even an ancient medicine woman, someone who was able to, I'm definitely getting in Haitian energy, could have had a past life in Haiti, as well as India. The Hindu energy is coming up again too. But definitely an energy here to like work with nature. There's like a great energy here that is like you work with nature. I feel like you actually stand in defense when it comes to adversaries, especially when it comes to nature and the lands. You protect others from harm. There's something very great here with protecting others from harm, including yourself. A very self-disciplined person here, whoever you are. You were very self-disciplined in this life, and you're self-disciplined now too. Okay, so number 24. Let's see what the tree angel spirit is saying for you guys. All right, we got almond here. When winter snow covers the northern hemisphere, the first tree to bloom under southern skies is the almond. From the very beginning, almond's white splendor opened the heart of humanity. Whoa, I love that. The almond tree is a manifestation of divine love. It strengthens our ability to be loyal and honorable and act with charity and empathy. Almond elevates our sense of divine worth and provides the impetus needed on our spiritual journey. It is the mystic's tree. Its older Aramic name means light. In an ancient Jewish tradition, the almond tree is also associated with the omnipresence of God. The botanical name Amigodlis, I think, hails from the Middle East and stems from the ancient Sumerian Ama-Ga, meaning great mother. Wow. So you may also work as I was saying, you work with the lands, you work with the energy of the earth, so you may have a very deep connection with Mother Gaia. The almond angel encourages us to search for the divine in life, to live with the very best intentions by the highest ideals possible. I feel called to say, because I definitely felt the energy of like when I was talking about how these women practice ceremony and ritual, that there was like a sense of fear of like, oh, ceremony, ritual, magic. No, like this is a ceremony of working, a ritual of working towards the highest good of all, working towards the good of protection of those who need it, even if it is on the earth, right? And so this is energy of practicing with the best of intentions by the highest ideals possible. The future belongs to the children, which is reason enough to fill the present with love. Okay, so yeah, I definitely feel a great feminine energy who works very deeply, who has a very deep connection to Mother Gaia, a very deep connection to the earth, to the land. You may feel very great connection as well to light energy, God source energy, the omnipresence of God, and finding God in literally everything. I'm definitely getting the practice of connecting with God through the land and earth energy with all of these cards here, all of them. In all of these cards, the women are working with the earth energy, with Mother Gaia's energy, to practice a form of ritualistic ceremony. Very loyal and honorable acts here, and feeling a very great connection to divine love. You may be someone who believes in divine love and the connection to divine love for us all. This may be something that you feel is your purpose, is to work as someone who is protecting and sending out love in ways to protect all, especially during this time. And this may be a part of like a great sense of purpose that you feel that is connected to this past life that we have here. So this is actually so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy here. And yeah, I hope you found some resonance, some interest within these piles in this video. And yeah, we're gonna end the reading here. That is all I have for you guys today. And I will see you guys next time. Blessings.